Well, hello, hello, hello. My name is Donna. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. If you didn't already know, I'm a full-time drafter and a part-time adjunct instructor at a local college teaching drafting. I created this channel to be able to post short educational videos to help you in your drafting journey. Most drafting classes are online these days thanks to COVID, and you can't really get the hands-on or face-to-face interaction like you once could. At least this way, you can visually see what's going on and get a better grasp at understanding versus what you can from a book. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, if you didn't already know, we are going to be using the parametric modeling with SolidWorks 2025. In my class, you are required to get this book through VitalSource, which I have the link right up here. And you have to get the access code to be able to read the book. Without purchasing it, you're not going to be able to read it. You can get a physical copy at SDC Publications, or you might be able to even find a copy on Amazon. If you don't have it, it's roughly going to cost you about $40 to $50, depending on where you get it. Now, for this particular video, we're not going over chapter one. Chapter one is basically just getting started, gives you a lay of the land, as you would call it, just letting you know the layout of SolidWorks. What we're focusing on is chapter two, parametric modeling fundamentals. So the way these are set up is every chapter gives you a guided tutorial. All right. So chapter two has you model this part right here, and it takes you step by step on how to go about creating it. Now, it doesn't get too complicated. It's pretty, straightforward. Click on this, click on that. I am not going to go through that whole chapter, but I am going to skim it and show you how I would, model it because some people need that visual representation to know, what's going on. The book gives you vague photos of what to look for, and we're going to try to show you what you should be seeing when you're modeling it. So you've opened up SolidWorks for the very first time, and according to the book, the first thing it wants you to do is to start a new part. All right, so we're going to go over here in the top left corner and hit File. We're going to hit New. All right, now if this is brand new, this is the screen you may see. Part, assembly, drawing. According to the book, it tells you to hit part and then you're going to change your units. Now, if you were in my classroom, we have specially made templates where this is already set up for you. Okay. So you will not click these. You're going to go over here to advanced, and under the templates that you've downloaded already, you're going to see imperial part, metric part, and then we have assemblies and drawings, which we're not using these just yet. Okay. So it tells you to open the part and to change your units to IPS, which is inch, pound, second. If you didn't already know, that is imperial. Okay, so if you're in my class, you will choose the imperial part template and hit OK. Now, if you're not in my class, then you would just hit new part. You won't have our templates. If you didn't see our class templates available, then that means you need to go back to module one and you need to, give me just a second, go to template setup. Watch that video, download the file and extract it, and then move those files over. I'm not going to go over there right now. There's a whole nother video set up for that. Okay. Now, if you notice, it started the part, but first thing it did is threw me in a sketch. I don't want that just yet. Okay. I'm just going to discard it. We're not doing anything just yet. All right. Now, if your icons do not look like this, I have already posted a video on how to make them large with text versus the small icons. I'll link that down in the description. Okay. I've also posted a video on how to change the units by itself. I'll also post that down in the description as well. Okay. But the book, go ahead and tell you how to go about doing it. It wants you to change it to IPS, which it already is since we chose the correct template. And it also wants you to select 3 decimal places. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit document units and we're going to change these right here to 3. So we'll go ahead and do that now. If I select it, we'll be in business, right? And then you just hit OK. First thing it wants you to do is it wants you to create a rough sketch on the front plane. So we're going to come over here. Now there's two different ways you can do this. Okay. So you can hit or click the front plane and then hit sketch and it'll automatically create a sketch. Or you can come over to the sketch tab and hit sketch and it'll ask you to select the plane. But because I already had it highlighted, it already selected the plane for me. All right, now let me just show you what it'll look like. If I didn't have the plane selected, I would hit sketch. And then, of course, it would tell me select a sketch. So we want front plane. All right. So it gives you a rough sketch to draw. So we're going to hit the line command. It says insert line. So you just click and go. So we're just going to go ahead. Now, if you look, when I get it straight, it snaps to make sure your line is straight, right? Same thing. If you can see, it'll snap and let me know my line is straight. So I want to keep my line straight. Okay. Now, when I get up to this point, it'll also tell me when I'm directly across my other point, and I want that. All right. So when I'm done, you can either hit escape or hit the green check mark, and that'll end that command. Okay. Now, next thing it asks you to do is it asks you to use the smart dimension command to apply dimensions to this. Okay. So right here beside the sketch is smart dimension. Now it gives you a couple dimensions to set it to. We're going to hit this bottom one and you're just going to pull down and you're going to click. And as long as it's not on top of your sketch, you just pull it down and this pops up. And this is highlighted telling you can change it. We're going to change that to 2.0 and then hit enter or the green check mark. All right, we're going to go ahead and just apply the other dimensions that it gives us. All right, 0.750. This one is also 0.750. And the last one is for this line. Now notice I just selected the line. Now I could hit this line and this line and bring it out this way. Does the exact same thing. It's just easier for me to just select the line and dimension it. Either one is fine. All right, and this one is 2.0. All right. So after you apply those dimensions, the first thing it tells you is to modify them. Okay. This is just showing you that just because you made it one thing doesn't mean you can't go back and change it. Okay. So it wants you to change this dimension right here to 2.5. All I had to do is double click on it and change the value. And it also wants you to change this one to 2.5. All right, so we've got our rough sketch done. Now, one thing I skipped over, but I probably shouldn't have, was before it asked you to modify the dimensions and whatnot, it asked you about changing the dimension standard. So, in order to do that, um, if you're in my class, you won't, and I'll show you why. So, in order to do that, you're going to hit the little gear icon. Okay. And it asks you to go to the document properties and select drafting standards at the left. So this is drafting standards, and it asks you to choose ANSI. Now, if you're using our templates through the school, it'll say ANSI modified. You're not going to change that back to ANSI. Just leave it the way it is. But if you're not in my class and you just want to know how to do it in general, you would change this to ANSI and then hit OK. So now that we've got this done, we're going to exit the sketch. All right. So now you're going to be completing the base solid feature. In order to do that, you're going to go over here to the features tab. Now, if you do not have this tab, I posted a whole nother video about how to activate other tabs. I'll try to post it up here in the top or put it down in the description for you. So, but I'm just going to assume you have these tabs open, okay? Or not open, but activated. So you're going to go over to the features tab and you're going to hit extruded boss base. Okay. Actually, take that back. You're going to highlight your sketch and then hit extruded boss base. All right. So once that pulls up, it might not have a value in there. It might look a little bit different because we are going to extrude this 2.5. I did it earlier. I actually recorded this with no audio and had to redo it. So it still remembers my last input. But so when you hit extruded boss base, all these different options come up. According to the book, it wants you to keep this at blind. Now, there's a bunch of different options. We'll go over those in a later video. But for right now, we're just going to use blind. That means one direction. Okay. And for the right here, the dimension, like how thick it's going to be 2.5 inches. So you're going to enter that right there. Okay. And then you hit OK. So what that does is it took your 2D sketch and, well, if it hits OK, it's being a little slow, and it made it a 3D model. Okay. So if you notice, I'm skipping over quite a few different things in the book. That's because I wasn't going to go over it word for word. Like I said, I'm just skimming it. I'm going over just the modeling portions. All right. It's going to continue to tell you how to put it in isometric view, how to rotate it. All those things are important. Rotating and panning. You need to make sure you read over that because they are very important things, especially the quick keys, different viewing tools. So please make sure you go over that, especially when it comes right here to the view orientation. These are how you can put your part or whatever you're working on in different views, right? So right now it's kind of sitting at an isometric view. Well, if I want to look at it in a front view, I would choose front. Now, if you don't know which each one means, just hover over it. It'll tell you. I want it in a front view, and it automatically does like a normal to, is what we call it, um, to whatever position you asked it to be. And it also tells you the same thing for isometric. You can just hit this one right here, and it automatically puts it in isometric view. Okay. Same thing, it goes over display styles. That is right beside it. Okay. You got shaded with edges, just shaded, which takes away those harsh edges. Okay. You also got hidden line removed, where it still looks the same, just basic. It looks like a sketch, but you don't see the hidden lines behind it. Hidden lines visible, you'll be able to see the hidden lines just like you were to draw something 3D on a piece of paper. All right. And then, of course, you have wireframe, which looks just like hidden lines visible, but instead of them being dash lines to represent the hidden lines, they're all solid. So we're going to change it back to shaded with edges. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to continue on creating our adjuster, right? So it tells you to create another part or another piece of the part, and you're going to create another sketch on this face right here. So I'm going to take the shortcut route. I'm just going to click the face and hit sketch. All right. So what it wants you to do is create another rough sketch. So we're going to hit the line command. And now it asks you, now if you notice I get to the edge and that little point appears, right? You want to make sure that point is there. And notice if I come to the line, it highlights. That lets me know that I am in fact on that line. If you don't see it highlighted, that means you're not on it. Okay. So we'll make sure that we select this point and then we'll drag it out. I want to make it straight. Gonna bring it, oh, make it straight, bring it out, and just kind of rough it up what it's somewhat supposed to look like. And then when I get over here, I want to make sure I hit that line. And then I'll go back up and make sure I connect it to that point where that point is highlighted. You see how it looks different? Just click, and then we're done with that. Okay. Now it gives you some dimensions to go ahead and dimension this to. This right here, this line is going to be 2.5. Stretched it out, so I got to zoom out. This one right here is going to be 2.5. Now, I could do it like I said earlier. I can select these two lines or just this line, whichever one's easier for you. I'll just show you when I select two lines, bring it down. It's going to be 0.75. And same thing with this. You can do the two lines or just the one. And this one is going to be 0.75. All right. So now if I rotate it, you'll see it's just a sketch sitting on the top. Now we chose this face, so your sketch is sitting on top of that face in a sense. So we're going to exit the sketch. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. And we're going to go back to extruded boss base just like we did this portion earlier. Notice my sketch is highlighted before I clicked it. All right, now if you notice, it's going in the opposite direction. That is not what I need. So I'm going to click this box right here. It says reverse direction. It's going to make it go the way I need it to go. Okay. Now we're also going to keep this in blind, one direction, and this is also the same 2.5. That way it's the same length as this one. Okay. Because remember, we made this part of this sketch 2.5, so we want it to be the same so it's not mismatched, right? Now, the only difference between this time is we're going to make sure this right here, merge result, is checked. All right. So I'm going to hit OK and show you what it looks like. Now, if I turn it around, it looks like one solid piece. That's what merging did. Now, if I edit this and I uncheck that box and hit OK, show you what it did. It made it look like two blocks side by side. They look like two solid, two separate pieces. But we don't want that. So I'm going to go back and edit and make sure that check mark is on there, okay? So give me just a second while I do that. All right. Now, the next thing is we've got a hole that goes right here. There's several ways to make a hole, but for this, you know, scenario, we're just going to follow with the book, and we're going to do it the way they want us to. Okay. So in this case, you're going to select this face and start a sketch. All right. Or go to the sketch tab, hit sketch, and then select this face. Either one is fine. All right, so it asks you just to create a circle, which is right here, right next to the line. And we're just going to draw one randomly right there and hit OK. Now, we need to give it some dimensions to keep the circle where we want it, right? So right now it's blue. Blue means it can move. Now, we'll get into this more later, but just keep in mind if it's blue, it moves. If it's black, that means it can't move. All right, so right now, if I click on this, I can drag it anywhere I want because it's blue, right? Now we're going to go ahead, click the Smart Dimension tool, and we are going to give it some dimensions that it gives us. So on this line, this edge from here, now you can do this one or two ways. You can just click the circle or the center mark or the center point. Either one does the same thing. And then click that. And it pulls from the center of the circle. All right, now this is going to be 1.250. Okay, now let me show you what putting that dimension on there does. Okay, so if you click the center of this circle and you move it side to side, it's going to move. But if you try to move it up and down, it's not going to move because I gave it a dimension of 1.25 from the edge. So no matter what, it is going to stay that distance from that edge. So it can't move up and down. Now, if I click the outside of the circle and drag, I can make it however big or small I want to. Why? Because I haven't given it a dimension to tell it how big I want the circle. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to click my smart dimension and I'm going to give it a dimension. Right, it needs to be a diameter of 0.75. All right. Now, notice this little symbol right here. That means diameter. Yours might say an R, but you can right click on that dimension and display. Mine says display as radius because mine is already a diameter, but yours might look like this. All right. You're going to right click on it and set it to display as diameter. Now, let's just say you're out of the dimension and yours is R, and for whatever reason display as diameter whatnot is not showing up. Yours looks like this. You can go to display options and get it from there too. Okay, two different ways. It doesn't always pop up the way it did the first time. Usually you have to go to display options and change it, but we want it as diameter. Okay, now notice the circle is still blue. I can still move it side to side, but I cannot move it up and down. All right. And I cannot click the outside and drag it and make it any size because I gave it a dimension telling how big I want it. And we already have this dimension. So now, since I can move it side to side, I want to be able to give it a dimension from the edge here to the center of the circle to tell it how far away from the edge I want it to be. So we'll do that now. We'll click this edge, click the circle to get it to the center, pull it out. That needs to be 0.750. Now notice it turned black. What does black mean? That it cannot move. It also tells me it's fully defined at the bottom. You'll learn more about that later. But that basically just means it can't move anywhere. You have all the dimensions you need in order for it to stay put. Okay? So to keep moving forward, we're almost done with it. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to do an extruded cut. So we're going to exit this sketch. All right, go back to the features tab, and instead of extruded boss base, you're going to do extruded cut. Now, there are different options. See, right now it says through all, and the book wants you to use through all, and it acts like blind does. Which let me rotate this so you can kind of see the arrow and zoom out a little. So it's going one direction, but it's going through the entire model. If that sketch was up here, it would go through the entire thing. Now you do have blind, you do have several other options that we'll learn about later. Right now, we're just going to choose what the book says, okay? So it says through all, and then you just hit OK. And that is it. So it tells you at the end to save the part as an adjuster. Um, If you were in my class, you are not going to save it as adjuster. There is a video posted about naming conventions. It's in Module 1. It tells you how to save your parts. It's basically your name, the assignment, and the class number because there are multiple different classes with multiple different numbers. Some of you are in multiple of those classes. Not only does it help us know to make sure you know who uploaded it, what part it was, and what class it's for, it also helps you because if you're in another class that has an exercise with the same name, the number at the end lets you know you're uploading the right part. So if you're not part of the class, save it as adjuster, do what you will as with it, and that's it. So thank you all so much for joining me today and learning about how to model the adjuster. As always, if you found this video helpful, let me know down in the comments below. If there's anything else you would like to see a video on, shoot me an email or just let me know in the comments as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps this channel out, okay? So y'all have a good day and happy drafting. See ya.